Hello, class. Today, um, we are on April 16th and April 17th for material science. We are going to talk about um, further going into composites and the uses for composites and really everyday material that you may use and not know that is made out of a composite. And then you will have to do a corresponding worksheet for the notes that you are going to take. So I would open up the note, either packet or if you're writing it down on a piece of paper, get out a blank piece of paper and label it general uses for composites. If you're using the notes, it will appear on the third page is where you should start. And we're going to go over just many different examples of where we use composites. Then we'll further along and explain direct examples that are very popular and what they are made out of, what materials. So we're going to start with general uses for composites. And those general uses will be the broad spectrum of them will be appliances, businesses use them, automotive industries use them, civil infrastructure, which really we'll go over when I get to that slide, but that civil infrastructure really just means the roads you drive on, the bridges that you go across, all the infrastructure of those pieces. Construction, corrosive environments use composites, in electrical, marine, and there's some advanced technology that now is coming into the world that is made solely from composites or that is a composite. And I'll go over that. So the first broad industry that uses them is the appliance industry. And you don't have to write every example down that I'm going to say because there are a lot, but I would just put some key ones or just write down a key part to each of these things. So, for example, appliances that use composites are washers, dryers, refrigerators, freezers, ranges, ovens, dishwashers, and specific components that will be your control panels, handles, all the knobs, the vents, the trim, the side trim, the motor housing, the kick plates, and many other different things that are used in each one of these appliances. So if you want to write down what an appliance is, so something that can be a washer or dryer, I would write that down because you're going to need to know a specific an example from each one of the broader spectrum, broader example of the industry. You'll need to know a specific one. So that is really, you can go into your appliances at home and look at different pieces, and they are most likely to be made out of composites or from composites, like a mixture of different materials. Another example of an industry that uses it is many businesses. So they are used in the frames, the equipment panels, handles and trims and appliance. So you're always selling these different equipment, and that is how, or it is made of composites. So you're really bringing it into the business side of things. So this goes along with appliances also. Like if you were to put two industries together, it'd be business and appliances because they're both using each other and in hand with composites. The next type of composite, or really use for a type of composite, would be the automotive and transportation industry. So composites are now being used in vehicles, equipment applications, like so the panels of your cars, the frames of your car, the interior components, and many other parts are made from multiple materials put together that really make a better material than the ones that are on their own. So I would just put one of those examples down for automotive, transportation, farm. Okay, so the next industry that uses composites is civil infrastructure. And like I said at the beginning of this, some composites are used for things. Infrastructure really means things like buildings, roads, bridges, and pilings. I'm not really 100% sure what that means or why that is an example of what a composite is used for, but I would stick with the examples like buildings, roads, bridges. An example of a composite that is used in those types of things are cement and concrete. Concrete is made from cement and other things that are put together and make concrete stronger than cement by itself. So those things are composites that are used for civil infrastructure and things around you. So the street that you live on, the bridges that you cross in Pittsburgh are mostly made from composites. Another example, and this kind of ties in with that, would be construction. So construction uses composites for things such as architectural components like fixtures, doors, wall panels, roofing, window frames, molding, sinks, showers, and even swimming pools can be made from composites. So I would put those examples down for specific examples with construction and the uses for construction and composites throughout them. Another reason to use a composite is for corrosive environments. Composites will be used in places that have corrosive environments. So chemical processing plants, pulp and paper converting, oil and gas refineries, and water treatment facilities often use these because they have more, they're things that they do in these plants lead to corrosive environments, and they need parts for their machines that won't corrode easily. And these composites and components that are made from composites are stronger because they're made from multiple materials, so they will not corrode easily. So a lot of these things that are used are in fans, grating, tanks, ducts, hoods, pumps, and cabinets. These will be used in these different refineries or facilities and plants for their machines, so they will not get corroded. Another industry that uses composites a lot is electrical industries. So there's such thing as thermoset composites that we will be talking about later on in class. So things that substation equipment, microwave antennas, and pole line hardware, some wiring boards will be used that are composites in this electrical field. A lot of different switch gears, motor controls, standoff insulators, control system components. A lot of these things also are used for lighting buildings and in the electrical engineering of putting the electricity into a building. So if you work or want to be an electrician, you will often run and use composites because they will have a better outcome than other things. So I would just jot down a couple of these examples. You don't have to write them all. A lot of them are probably in your house or wherever you are right now. So, another place that we often see composites is through different marine applications. This is due to the fact that composites that are used in these different things are usually have resistance to corrosion, and that is big when you are using them in water. So things like boat hulls, bulkheads, and other components for different boats and ships are used because they will not cause the boat to be corroded, and they are very lightweight, which needs to be the case for boats as they are floating on the water. So this makes sense of why you would use composites for marine applications and transportation because of the corrosion resistance and them being lightweight. So composites will be used for different things in a boat, like the hull of the boat, the bulkheads, and are often used in commercial, recreational, and military situations. So, really, multiple places you will see them, and they're very good for boats. The last type of composites or a use for composites will be kind of advanced things that you might not see often. Um, a lot of composites are used for airplanes, so things like wings, the fuselages, the bulkheads, and the fuels. I can't even say that word. Fuselages are the whole body of the plane, the bulkheads, and other applications for, like I said, commercial, civilian, and military applications. So 50% of the planes that you may ride to go on vacation or to go really anywhere else in the world are made from composites. Other materials that are listed on this graphic, like aluminum, titanium, and steel, are used for the rest of the plane. And then another example that we're now seeing come about is robotics. Robotics is a composite because, or robots are a composite because they take so many different things. So, like computations, computer programming, all those things go together to make a robot. All the metal or the pieces go together and work to bring a newer material that is supposed to help. Robots will be used more widespread in the future. You'll see that they are an example of a composite. So, after you are done taking these notes and put these examples into your notes, you are going to go, you can click out of your notes and out of this video after you see the directions, and you will go to the uses for composites worksheet. It will look like this for you guys. So I just asked that you put some examples, or you can even say give a use, like just write an example in for each of the industries that are listed here. So construction, electrical, aerospace, just put one example of what piece or equipment is used for each different industry. And then I want you to click on this article and you will read this article. It's not that long. And answer 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8. I'll delete that last question. So 8 questions on this article. It shouldn't be that bad. It just gives you more of an insight on different uses and how they came about for composites. The next class, we will move on to different specific examples of composites. So, like I said today, concrete, we will go into concrete and what it is made of, and other examples also.